Tonight is the last night for Tunes at Twilight in Cape Girardeau until August. I spoke with this evening's artist, Jeff Plankenhorn, ahead of the concert. Take a listen.
So if you just want to talk a little bit about music, how you got started into music, where all of this began for you.
I started in music very, very early. When I was 7, I started singing in church choirs. I was a boy soprano. By the time I was 10, I had done a few national anthems for Cleveland Indians and Phillies games. And as soon as my voice started changing, I picked up guitar. After going to school at the University of Michigan for music and playing in a 12-piece funk band and a 5-piece bluegrass band at the same time, I moved to Texas at the urging of Ray Wiley Hubbard. And I lived there for years as a side person for about 16 years. And my last 4 years in Texas, I started playing solo and doing my own shows with a band. And I haven't looked back ever since, and it's been pretty great. My wife and I now live up on Vancouver Island, where she was born and raised. And I pretty much just tour around and play music, and that's the bulk of what I do for a living, and it's a pretty charmed life.
So for the Tunes at Twilight concert series that they've been putting on, I know that you are actually their last act for the summer. What kind of, I guess, music do you do? What's your genre? What's your style?
That's always the hardest question for most musicians to answer, but it's a good one anyway. I guess you'd put me somewhere in the folk or roots rock kind of thing. Some people use the term Americana, although that's really, really broad these days. It fits so much, it doesn't really tell you what the person does. I play a lap slide guitar, and it's sort of acoustic. I actually designed my own electric lap steel guitar for playing in bands and stuff like that, and the vast majority of my songs are on that. But when I started going out and doing the songwriter thing, I found that the acoustics were better. And it's a pretty interactive show. I'm telling stories. I try to interact with the crowd a lot. Tell a few bad jokes, of course. And yeah, and I actually try to get people moving a little bit too. I'm not so static. I like to see people get up and dance when they can and when they feel like it.
Of course, I feel like that just makes the whole thing just that much more enjoyable when people can get out there and kind of be a part of the show that you are putting on. And
Absolutely.
when you are doing these types of concerts, what would you say is your favorite part about it all?
Oh, I mean, it might sound a little cheesy, but I really believe it's about connection. I do a little blogging online, on my my newsletter and stuff. People kind of like when you write about the road and people you interact with and things like that. And one time I wrote about how the feeling that you get when you go in, you see a big show, and you're out in the audience and everybody's kind of feeling the music. And you feel kind of connected with the people around you, and you feel connected with the artist on stage. For me, that's almost the exact feeling of what I feel when I'm having a good show. It's almost the same thing. And what that tells me is that it's, not really all about me per se, and that it's more about, being connected with the audience and playing some stuff that we all can feel.
Yeah, I feel like that really matters, when people can really get into the songs and, like you said, just really feel that I feel like leaves them leaving with such a different, take on the concert. That is super awesome. I love that. And so for someone who maybe is on, not sure if they're going to be coming to Tunes at Twilight, how would you persuade them to come to your show?
You will leave on a high note. I joke with my friends about not wanting to be a singer-songwriter anymore because, it's like there's this thing when you start out where you think you have to write all these like kind of heavy, songs. And I'm kind of in a place where I really love what I get to do. So I've tend to write a little bit more on the positive and uplifting side these days. And I'll just let you know that if you like slide guitar, you'll pretty much like it. if you're into that kind of thing. And if you like bluesy stuff, you'll really like it. And you will also hopefully leave on a higher note than when you came.